Quick story. I'm Margaret Wallace-Brown. I'm the Acting Director for the Planning and Development Department, and I really want to thank all of you for being here this morning with us. The Planning Department started doing neighborhood conferences in the 90s, and there are a number of you out there that I recognize from those old days. So welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us over these decades. And there are lots of faces out there that I've never seen before, so I'm really grateful that you're here and going to spend the day with us. Thank you. It's going to be a really exciting day. We've got lots of stuff for you, lots of things for you to learn, great speakers, starting off with a fabulous speaker from HPD. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time up here, but really just want to thank you. And thank you for those who have participated with us through the past several months, year and a half, on the Complete Communities Initiative. As Mayor Turner's primary initiative for assisting neighborhoods, Complete Communities has really been a great opportunity for the neighborhoods to tell Houston, to tell the city of Houston what you feel is important in your neighborhood and how you want us to assist you, how you want us to work with you to improve your neighborhoods. And it's been a great learning experience for the Planning Department, for the other departments that we coordinate with, and hopefully for you all also. We've had over 100 meetings in the 5 Complete Communities over the past year, and with the delivery and the production of the action plans for each of the 5, we have come to a really great turning point in this process, and this is the first of the next phase of making sure that we empower you, the residents and the property owners and the business owners in those 5 communities to know how to work with us and other agencies, to know how to effectively get what your community needs and wants. And so it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great process from this point out as we go into the implementation phases. I want to take a few minutes to thank the EB Cape Center for allowing us to be here today, and to thank HTV. They are going to film this so we can share it with Complete Communities over and over and over again. They are doing this complimentary for us, so we greatly appreciate their participation on this. And last but not least, I want to recognize all the planning and development staff that's been working very hard with you over the last year and a half, and the staff that's worked so hard to bring us to today. A number of them are standing in the back, but if I could get the rest of them to kind of just stand up for a second, and I want to thank them. So, yeah, we are here for you. We are here to help you if you get lost today or if you get lost next week. We're here to help you figure out how to get on the right path for your neighborhood, and because this is your neighborhood, it's not our neighborhoods. It's your Complete Communities, it's not our Complete Communities. And so, again, thanks to everybody that's brought us here, and let's have a great day. Jennifer's going to introduce our first speaker. Oh, you've got evaluation forms. Please, please, please fill them out. What did we do great today that makes you want us to do it again? And what could we do to improve how we do this next time? Make sure you tell us. Thanks.
Thank you, Margaret, and good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's great to see you here. We've been excited to plan for this event. My name is Jennifer Oslin. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning Services with the department, and have been working with the team on Complete Communities for the last year and a half, and so we're very excited that you've come out this morning. I know it's hard to come out on a Saturday. And it's my pleasure this morning to introduce our first speaker, Houston Police Chief, or Assistant Chief Sheryl Victorian, Dr. Sheryl Victorian. Sheryl is a native Houstonian and a 25-year veteran of the Houston Police Department. She was promoted to Assistant Chief in October of 2017 and is currently assigned to Patrol Region 2 Command, where she is responsible for Vehicular Crimes Division, Clear Lake, Southeast, South Central, East Side, and Downtown Patrol Divisions. Sheryl's law enforcement experience includes assignments in the major offenders, homicide, special victims, internal affairs, training, and Southeast Patrol divisions. Sheryl has earned many awards and commendations for her service and dedication to the Houston Police Department and to the City of Houston. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Administration of Justice from Texas Southern University, a Master of Science degree in Criminal Justice from University of Houston, downtown, and a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Administration of Justice from Texas Southern University. Sheryl is a graduate of the Federal Bureau of Investigation's National Academy Session number 267, and is a National Institute of Justice Law Enforcement Advancing Data and Science Scholar. In May of 2018, Sheryl received the American Society for Public Administration's Public Interface Award. She is recently selected to join the American Leadership Forum class of 47. It's written in Roman numerals, so I hope I got that right. I had to think way back. But so Sheryl has been very busy and doing great things in our community. In her spare time, she's a playwright and enjoys traveling, mentoring, teaching, and spending time with her family. And we are very thrilled to have her open today's workshops. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Assistant Chief.
Good morning. It's tough for me to sit there and listen to somebody talk about me like that. It takes some getting used to, but thank you very much, Ms. Jennifer. First of all, thank you guys for having us here. Thank the planning department for the City of Houston and everything that you've done toward this effort. I'd like to thank the mayor for his vision in the Complete Communities Initiative. And today I want to talk to you about some of the things that the Houston Police Department is doing as part of this initiative. I'm going to start off by giving you a little background of HPD. A lot of people don't know some of the facts that I'm going to give you or the organization of the department. I'll give you some citywide stats, and then I'm going to go into each one of our complete communities and tell you about the projects, the plan of actions, and the projects for each of those areas. I'm also going to introduce somebody that's very important to each of these areas, so feel free to pull out your cameras and take pictures of the captains and the department liaisons. One thing that I just realized I didn't put on there were email addresses, but their email addresses are easy to find. I'll give you a couple of links where you'll have access to these individuals, okay? You know what, I have to say this. Today is actually my 1-year anniversary as an assistant chief. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And there's no place that I'd rather be. I am so honored to be able to start this next year doing this presentation for you guys, okay? All right, so Houston Police Department is led by Chief Art Acevedo. I just demoted my chief, don't tell him. By Chief Art Acevedo. I hope that many of you have had the opportunity to at least shake his hand or to hear him in some form or fashion speak to the community. He's very engaged. He's very genuine and sincere, and he loves getting out meeting the community. Okay, we have 5,100 sworn personnel. That means police officers assigned to HPD. All of those individuals are not on the street. We have some that are in supportive positions, some investigations positions, and then again, of course, some on patrol. We have 1,200 civilian support personnel that are assigned in support roles, whether it's dispatch, records division, in our jails. And the Houston Police Department services a 640 square mile area, okay, over 600 square miles with 5,100 sworn officers. We're the 5th largest police agency and the 4th largest city in the United States. But let me just give you an idea of what we're up against. The city of Chicago has 12,244 sworn police officers. They cover a 237 square mile area. Now think about that. 5,100 versus 12,000, and they serve a third of the area that we serve. And I'm not going to talk about what's going on in Chicago. I think everybody knows what's happening in Chicago. So more doesn't always mean better, but the Houston Police Department can use more police officers. We are short-staffed. I think we should be at 5,500 right now. We're advocating for another 500 officers over the next 5 years. But there are a lot of things that's going on in the midst of that. But we are increasing our recruitment efforts, and we are working to not lower our standards, but make it more attractive for individuals who may not have a college education, but may have spent 3 years in a full-time job. And these are still quality individuals. So we're looking. So if you know anybody, you have children, siblings, nieces, nephews interested in law enforcement, we'll talk about that at the end. We would love to have them apply, okay? So again, we're the 5th largest police agency and the 4th largest city in the United States. Now, this is our organizational chart. A lot of people are not sure or have no idea how we're organized, okay? So, of course, we have the chief of police at the top. And budget and finance, public affairs, office of legal services, they all report directly to the chief. They're all led by deputy directors, okay, who are not classified personnel. And then the department is broken off into 2 sections. We have investigative and special operations, and then we have field and support operations. Many of you in this room would be more concerned about the field and support operations, knowing where your neighborhood is within our organizational chart, okay? To the left, again, investigative and special operations, that's led by an executive assistant chief. Executive assistant chief Slinkert is responsible for this area. It has criminal investigations, special investigations, organizational development, and Homeland Security Command, okay? Now to our right is field and support operations. Field and support operations is patrol, which is where I am, okay? So we have Patrol Support Command, that's an assistant chief over that. The blue areas are assistant chiefs. There's an assistant chief over Patrol Region 1, 2, and 3, okay? Patrol Region 1 is Assistant Chief Pete Lopez. I have Patrol Region 2, and then Patrol Region 3 is Assistant Chief Bainbridge, okay? So I don't know if you're familiar with the patrol station that's in your area, but again, I'm gonna go through that as we go through the presentation, but the 15 patrol stations are listed under Patrol Region 1, 2, and 3, and we all have an additional division. Patrol Region 1 has gang division, Patrol Region 2 have vehicular crimes, and then Patrol Region 3 also has mental health, okay? The other locations above those, Central, Kingwood, North Belt, those are all patrol divisions. Hopefully I'll give you a better idea of what that means in a minute. Okay, so year to date, Part 1 crimes this year compared to last year. As you can see, murder has increased this year as opposed to last year. Last year, we decreased compared to 2016, but this year we're back near where we were in 2016, with 18 more murders this year than we had last year. And everything else is a negative. We're down in both violent and nonviolent crime overall. And this information is available to you at houstontex.gov/police. You can go and see crime statistics for yourself. But this is January 1st to September 2017 versus 2018. Now, this is not just contributed to HPD, because as I said, there are not a whole lot of us out there. But us working cooperatively with our community, presenting crime prevention techniques, you guys following those crime prevention techniques and working cooperatively with us to help us be able to identify areas where we can improve. Not only that, crime stats look really nice. But as a police department, it's important for us not to just look at these crime stats and determine where we're going to apply our resources. It also helps when we come to our communities, because we may be looking at the numbers and think robberies are an issue in your area. where you're just concerned about the loitering at the neighborhood store, or you're worried about a narcotics issue on your street, okay? So that's why it's important for us to work cooperatively with you guys and not just look at our numbers to determine where we need to deploy our resources, which is really, really why I appreciate this Complete Communities initiatives and the cooperative relationship that we're developing with the community. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. BMV is burglary of a motor vehicle or theft of a motor vehicle. Okay? And as you can see, it's broken into violent crime and nonviolent crime. The violent crime, of course, are those crimes against people or persons, and then those nonviolent crimes are just crime against things, or your vehicle, your home, okay, or businesses, okay? All right, now the mission of the Houston Police Department is to enhance the quality of life in the city of Houston by working cooperatively with the public and within the confines, framework of the U.S. Constitution to enforce the law, preserve the peace, reduce fear, and provide a safe environment. We can't do this without working cooperatively with the public. We can't do it on our own. We need help, which is why I'm glad that you guys are here. You guys have shown initiative to want to improve public safety in your communities, because there's so much that we can do together. Alone, you know, we can do a little, but together we can do a whole lot. We can do a whole lot more. One of the things that our chief is very, very instrumental in is relational policing. And relational policing is the police department being proactive in going out and developing relationships with our communities. It's not enough for us to wait for you guys to come to us to try to form a relationship. It's incumbent upon us as well to reach out into community and get involved in the events that you guys have in the community. One thing that I liked, I was a captain at South Central before promoting to assistant chief. One of the things that, and I love community policing. I think throughout my career, I progressed more from apprehending and putting a bad guy in jail to prevention, intervention, and getting out and loving my community and figuring out what they need. But one of the things that I liked doing was inviting the public into South Central. We've had back to school, backpack giveaways, we had trunk or treat in our parking lot. We had a Christmas event where we invited the kids over, got with the stakeholders in the neighborhood. They gave us plenty of toys. Every kid walked away with a toy. We had food, we had entertainment. They also, after I left, they had Easter egg hunt, extravaganza. But in doing all of that, we also invited mounted patrol and canine, traffic enforcement, just to try to help build that relationship. We just figured we'll invite the community into our house, okay, and to try to form and build those relationships. And these are some of the stakeholders, just some of the events that we have had in the community. You see the chief and the mayor being involved with the use of the March for Their Lives. So you're seeing us more and more out in the communities, and this should be in every area, not just in Southeast or not just in the 5 complete communities. This should be within the entire department where we're reaching out to the community and building those relationships. All right, so down to the Complete Communities initiative. I am the department rep for Complete Communities. Like I said, I'm Assistant Chief Sheryl Victorian, and I have Patrol Region 2. And Vashonda McLean, she's my Special Projects Sergeant in Patrol Region 2. She's actually the department liaison. Okay, so she works very closely with planning and with our divisions where the Complete Communities are to make sure that things are being done. She wish she could be here today. She's out studying for the lieutenant's exam. So please take a picture of this slide if you need anything from our office, we're available for you. Okay, so our first complete community. And I'm going in alphabetical order. No one is important than the other, just saying. The first complete community is Acres Home. Acres Home is located 9455 West Montgomery Road, okay? the captain of North Patrol Station is the one that's responsible for the Acres Home area, is Captain Harris, okay? This is a nice big shot of Captain Harris. Please get if you have an opportunity to stop by and go to the front desk and say, hey, I'd like to see the captain. If he's there, he should be able to come out, say hi, introduce himself. The Complete Communities Liaison with Acres Homes is going to be Sergeant Frank Escobedo, okay? So he's the Complete Communities contact. And again, I apologize for not putting everybody's email address on here as well. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that Acres Home, the plan of action Acres Home has for the Complete Community projects. And a lot of these recommendations or the plan of action strategies came from the listening sessions with the community and also some things that we've added in, okay? So Acres Home community projects. Expand participation in HPD's PIP program. PIP, does anybody know what PIP is? Yeah, okay, so we have a couple of people here who are familiar with PIP. PIP is the Positive Interaction Program. Every month, every patrol station has a Positive Interaction Program meeting. If you are not familiar with the PIP program, please get with your Complete Communities Initiatives liaison and ask them, because every station is different, when their PIP meetings are. PIP is a good opportunity for you to come in as citizens and receive crime victimization information, to receive crime prevention techniques, to understand some of the processes with HPD. There's always a guest speaker. You may have somebody come in from robbery to talk about victimization. You may have somebody to come in from Mounted Patrol, and they'll talk about the things that Mounted Patrol does. That's where our horses. You may have K-9 come in. You may have SWAT. We have active shooter presentations. So every division does something different, okay? But every division has a PIP program. And it's just an hour of your time once a month where you come in and, you know, meet with us. You also have an opportunity. We have these blue forms at the end of the night. If you're having specific issues in your area, you complete those blue forms, and the community services unit with that division gets back with you and follow with you on that information, okay? Now, it's not a session where we come in and we get to complain to the police once a month, but we allow you that opportunity to tell us what your issues are on that blue form, and the community services officers reach back out to you regarding that issue, okay? But it is an opportunity for you to come in and develop a relationship with us, learn how to reduce victimization, and learn some other things about the police department. Okay, another plan of action for them is to enhance communication between the community and the police by using Facebook, Nextdoor, encouraging citizens to call the station, contacting us through email, patrol, alert slips, and beginning citizen on patrol teams. Now, does anybody follow us on Facebook or the chief on Twitter? Anybody use social media? Nextdoor, okay, yeah. So I encourage you guys to get on social media. I used to always, I don't want to be on social media. But you know what I found? I have a Twitter, SD Victorian. If you're on Twitter, please follow me. But what I found is that as a police department, if we don't tell our story, somebody's going to tell a story for us. So it's an opportunity for us to go out there and tell our stories. When we're doing that good stuff in the community, or when somebody in my area is doing something great with the community, with our elderly, at our apartment complexes, with our kids, send me a picture, because Chief Victorian's going to tweet it, okay? And then I've encouraged them to get out there and create their own sites, tell their own story, because the only thing we see in the news about the police is usually, I shouldn't say the only thing, usually it's something bad. So we need to create our own image and manage our own image. So I encourage you guys to join us on Facebook. Now, we put out information on Twitter when there are active scenes and things going on and telling you to stay out of the area. We do that stuff too. But one of the things that and I should have said this a little earlier, one of the things that our chief is really big on is transparency. He wants us to be transparent. He has this acronym for TREAT to help us build trust in our communities. The T is for transparency. The R is respect, that we treat each other with respect, internally and external to the organization. The E is for engagement, for us to be out in the community, for us to invite the community out to us, for us to hear the good stuff, for us to hear the bad stuff, for us to try to bridge those gaps or identify gaps, okay? The A is for accountability, and he believes in holding officers accountable. I believe in holding officers accountable for their actions, okay? And with that transparency, respect, engagement, accountability, it builds that last T, that trust within our communities, okay? So we want to make sure that we're being transparent. We want to make sure that we are engaging in the community. And we're going to take advantage of social media. So follow us on Facebook. You can go to our YouTube channel, and you'll see videos that the chief put out periodically, okay? We want to partner with HPD's DRT to address nuisances. DRT is a differential response team. Anybody heard of differential response team? Okay, so our differential response team uses non-traditional ways to address issues. All right, those are the ones that are very familiar with apartment ordinances, store ordinances, CPTED measures. Anybody know what CPTED means? It's CPTED. And what it is crime prevention through environmental design, meaning we're going to use different techniques in order to reduce victimization or prevent crime. So say, for instance, you have a neighborhood who's had a lot of burglaries. So we'll send somebody out from our DRT, differential response team, and they may come out and say, hey, you know what? You guys' hedges are very high. You know, people can't see your windows, so the burglars will go in behind the bushes and break into your homes. So they may say, okay, I recommend that you trim your bushes. They may say, hey, you know, you guys are not utilizing the cameras you guys have in the area. We need to make sure you're turning on your cameras, use those systems. Maybe there's not enough lighting, or maybe the street lights are out, and we need to get those street lights on. Those guys have those direct connections to get that type of stuff done. Maybe there's a store in your area that's a nuisance. It attracts loitering. It attracts narcotics. Our DRT guys can go in there and see if they're in compliance with the city ordinances, okay? And also, they share information. This is not just a patrol project, as you'll see. It's just not officers on the street. But we're going to work cooperatively with our investigative divisions to get some of this stuff done, okay? So that's what DRT is. They use non-traditional ways to address crime. Illegal dumping, that's a big, and some of this you're going to see is universal. It's going to repeat for some of the other areas as well. And illegal dumping, create a 311 campaign and putting cameras at hotspots. Everybody familiar with 311, right? It's not an emergency, but it's just a nuisance and you want to report it, feel free to provide that information to 311. Next we have Captain Bellamy. Captain Bellamy is in the Gulfton area. The station that's responsible for the Gulfton area is South Gessner Patrol. South Gessner Patrol is at 8605 West Place Drive. It's not in the Gulfton neighborhood, because Southwest Patrol Station or South Gessner Patrol Station is a wide area, okay? So it's Captain Bellamy. The Complete Communities Liaison is Officer Jose Herrera and Officer Daniel Mendoza. Some of their community projects for Complete Communities is to reduce domestic violence. There's a high incidence of domestic violence. This month, matter of fact, I wish I would have bought some bracelets, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Of those murders that were committed this year, 35 of those were domestic violence related. I want to say 29 was partner. I have those numbers. 29 were partners, 4 were children. I think 23 were partners, 4 were children, and 7 were just family related, whether it's sister, brother, cousin, uncle, okay? But there's a high instance of domestic violence occurring in our areas. And a lot of it is not being reported. I could say most of it is not being reported. A lot of it we don't know about. So what we're doing is educating our officers when they respond to scenes of domestic disturbances to look for certain clues for, using a more empathetic and compassionate way to talk to our victims, making sure we separate them and get all the information that we have, looking for for signs and clues around the home to determine if something else needs to be done. But at 35 of those this year, as compared to 34 last year, it was still a high number last year, of those murders were domestic violence related. So if you know somebody or believe that somebody may be a victim of domestic violence, there are resources that we have on our website that I'll be glad to share with you guys at the end, or recommendations that you can make, ideas for you, how you could talk to that individual, maybe get information, or what you can do, taking pictures, taking that person to the Houston Area Women's Center. We just make sure that because a lot of times, most times, you guys know about it before we know about it. We know when our family members may be victims of domestic violence. Oh, I got 10 minutes. Let me move on. Okay, increase visibility and presence in the police community, and that's something that all our communities want to do. We want to increase police visibility where we can. But I'm going to be honest, and as far as being transparent, we're short. But we encourage our officers in between calls that you drive through neighborhoods. Don't just stay on the main street. Drive through some of the neighborhoods so people can see you. So these guys that are out here committing these offenses, they never know when you're going to be by. But if we do have uncommitted time, that time is supposed to be increasing visibility in our neighborhoods. Encourage participation in PIP. This is Gulfton as well. And provide 3 top issues in the community annually. That means meeting with their community members and determining what's important to you guys. And that's us not looking at stats, but seeing what's important to you and then addressing those issues. Address safety and security at area apartment complexes. Reduce gang activity and gun violence. They're working closely with the captain of gangs in order to identify those gang members or those gangs that are causing issues in the area and developing plans of action to address gang activity. That's just ongoing. We do that now, okay? Develop public service campaign for 311, 211, and 911 in multiple languages. Near North Side, captain is Gwen Shaver. It doesn't have an address up there because it was wiped out by Harvey, but they're working out of one of the buildings near their old building that's on police property. It's not accessible by the public. However, there is contact information if you need to get in contact with anybody from Central Patrol. The Complete Community Liaison, great guy, Sergeant Michael Donato, who's very visible in the public. Some of their projects, understand and address human trafficking. They're working closely with Vice. Vice will come out. If you guys have community organizations or lead super neighborhoods, Vice Division will come out and do a presentation on human trafficking, okay? Increase participation in PIP. Everybody wants to do that. We want you guys to come out and visit us at our PIP meetings. Increase patrol presence, develop strong partnerships between neighborhoods, neighborhood initiatives such as Safe Walk Home, expand neighborhood safety initiatives, getting all of the stakeholders in the community involved, including the churches. When we're talking about Safe Walk Home, any of those people who may work at night or who may be retired, seeing if they can come outside their homes, stand on the corner as the kids are on their way home. Just increase that adult visibility to reduce some of the criminal activities that we may have with not just with our juveniles, but with those that are trying to encourage our children to participate in gangs or other criminal activity. Address loitering, homeless needs, and panhandling. It's a big issue in a lot of our areas. Captain Zia is responsible for 2 of the areas in our Complete Communities project. He has 2nd Ward and he has 3rd Ward. South Central Patrol Station is right here at 2202 St. Emmanuel. The Complete Communities Liaison for 2nd Ward is Officer Ashton Bowie. Some of the 2nd Ward issues that were presented and things that we want to work on. 1, work together to reduce crime, involve our constables in that area, use social media as well to talk about some of the issues that are going on in the area and also to manage that law enforcement image and our community partnerships and getting people involved in Citizen Police Academy. I'll talk about that at the end. We also want to increase patrol visibility, provide additional Spanish-speaking officers in the Second Ward community. Another thing that we like to do that's not on here is increase reporting in the Second Ward community. We have an issue with our Hispanic Americans, our Hispanic population, our Mexican population reporting crimes because they're afraid that we're going to ask about their immigration status. That's not what we do. We go out into the community, and if you have an issue, we'll address that issue and we'll try to catch the bad guy, okay? So we're trying to increase people reporting crimes. They're afraid to report crimes, and we need that information. Expand bike patrols on the trails and to participate in South Central PIP. For Third Ward, install community cameras in hotspots. As you know, along Scott, now we have the Metro Rail. There's a lot of issues that's going on the Metro Rail. So we're trying to get grant and get funding to put cameras up so we can, when we're not there, we can have somebody sitting behind a camera watching those different areas in South Central's area. And illegal dumping. Work in partnership with the Houston Police Department to identify other programs to improve relationships. There are a lot of community service or community meetings in South Central area, and we'd like to combine those, combine those in order to have a bigger response, okay? Create a safety campaign to encourage residents to use the police non-emergency number to support suspicious activity. Call in a tips line, use a non-emergency number, and we also have online access as well to support suspicious activity. Sometimes it may not be a high priority, but we have that information and have that information documented. Maybe we could pass it on to our investigative units for them. Say, for instance, if it's narcotics activity. We could pass that information on to them to begin doing proactive undercover investigations, okay? So it's just important that if you see something, that you say something. All right, address crime in hotspots along the Southeast Corridor light rail line. Advocate for additional bike patrol, and sometimes that means going outside of South Central Division and getting officers from other areas to come over to work, like an overtime program for comp time, to ride bikes on the trails. And then, of course, participate in South Central PIP. Those are the plans of action for each one of our complete communities, but I would just be remiss had I walked away from here and not talked about how we could get involved with the Houston Police Department and build these partnerships outside of complete communities. There are several initiatives several programs that we have that you can get involved in. We have the Citizens Police Academy. The Citizens Police Academy is it's a 10-week program. They meet once a week for 10 weeks, and it gives you an opportunity to look inside of HPD. You have the opportunity to participate in the shoot, don't shoot, okay? Participate with, go into mounted, go into dispatch, go into our helicopter unit, ask questions. When critical issues may happen in the media, you discuss those issues. We discuss policy. And it's our way of getting advocates for seeing what's going on in the police department. And after you graduate, you can become a Citizen Police Academy alumni. A lot of our alumni are responsible for helping us with outside events, and it's just a great opportunity. We have communicators on patrol, where now we're extending our language base, and we have people who are volunteered to ride with our patrol officers and go into some of our communities where there's a language barrier. Greater Houston Police Activities Lead, that's a PAL, that's one of our kids program, 8 to 18 years old to participate in that. We have our HPD Explorers program, where our kids from 15 to 21 get involved. They have their own little uniform. They get to do police activities. They participate in competitions. One of the ways to keep our children out of trouble or get them interested in law enforcement, so we can have some recruits when they turn 21. The Boys and Girls Mentoring Program. We have TAPS, which is Teen and Police Service. And usually this program is in our schools where there are at-risk kids. And police go into these schools once a week, and we talk about bullying. We talk about addressing aggressive behavior and that type of thing, okay? And of course we have citywide PIP meetings, which is every other month. and that is at our union over on State Street, and that's where the chief actually comes out and addresses the community in our PIP meeting. But also, we also have another speaker to come out and address the crowd as well. But our chief shows up at those PIP meetings, and he always opens up, allows you an opportunity to ask questions. And then, of course, we have our Youth Police Advisory Council, and they sit down with the chief once a month, and he asks about the issues with our youth in the community, and he asks their opinion and get their input. Okay, I ran through that. All right, so contact us. If you have an emergency and it's life or death, 911, we have our non-emergency line for things that have been delayed or things that are not life and death. And then we also have Crime Stoppers if you want to remain anonymous. You can also call the non-emergency line and be anonymous as well. But if something is happening or has just happened. And this is our website. A lot of the stuff that I just talked about, especially on the previous slide, is on our website. The crime stats that I talked about, they're on our website as well. So please feel free to go and explore our website. It's really nice. And then you can contact us, connect with us on any of those social media pages. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to working with you guys. I hope this was helpful.